It's fine. I get up. I'm feeling focus. Come on, be a good I'm gonna stay focused. Opportunities.
Attention! This is salute with my hustlers. Ikamo umekmele lishumo bafethu. Imina ku captain wa lo mkhumbi bafethu iSpani. We are not like the Titanic cause we never sink. Sanibonani nginamukele hleleni bafethu. Namhlanje sihamba nentokazi sangiqeda imfundo za lapha ku chemical engineering. Ufano bafethu. Intokazi izohambela lapha eMintek bafethu. Iyozama ukuzwa isindo semfundo yayo njengoba ke ishaya iBachelor of Science. Iyofuna ukungena kumkhakha babizwa ngokuthi mineral processing. Akuhlangana naye simbuza ukuthi kungani ke akhetha ukusebenza ngamatshe nokuthi our pause. Ngithi Fano, when the lights come on and they start recording, it's because the whole nation wants to hear your story. So tell them about Sebe call Horwena o Pandamo, Pressa Pisha Pandamo, Pressa Pisha Alringamo.
Ufano umuntu othule, she's caring, humble, yabathanda abantu. She's very sweet, eh? Like she will smile at you and be polite. And I guess maybe key the vendor thing, or she's polite like that.
Sinalanga Pfano Nembudani. I'm 23 years old and the baby was Limpopo in Utrecht. I've got 3 siblings and I'm the last born, Kamuta Wahash. Being the last born in my family, Sabazuko Amba Uri, Babibi Banga, Boba Bahone at all times, and Bompa enough attention, Gauri, Nichisala Nichisuka in high school, my sisters and brothers were already in varsity. Nendo Arusiwa in a very strict family, so in a way, I think I much of a social life.
To a certain level, ne, Fano is an introvert. Ke motho e leng gore o rata space sa gagwe and o rata being by herself and in her own little cocoon.
Hobo wusina chipinga cho uri ndibe a socialite. Ndandichizula ndi hayani ndikobala ndichibva chikoloni. My dad would be waiting outside to take me to the library, and that was really good for me. Ngori won support and ndandichifuri ndowana support yothe yababebi banga and zwaziching motivator in terms of performing well chikoloni. Jena Chikoro at Altivillas Combined School. Demographics za Chikoro, about 80% Indians and 20% black students. That's where I met my best friend, Usikarana Musi, Upi Munira Patel. I remember in primary, which I look very Indian.
Yeah, man kalumbona bengibona umntana omuhle. Bengabona nokuthi umvenda, like seriously, you know. Ke iputshisitse gore mara ngwana ke mhlobo mang. And ka mo kwa last venda, I was like, "Eh. Ma venda na le ma India."
I had really long hair and I was like and there was something everybody used to find funny. Chikoroni Changa, hobo huna principal, HFP, Mr. Mohammed, Richimo Opabad. Oba Amotu was strict ngamanda in terms of mathematics. Nduri, he had a saying, Bachizoroko Sokori, you need to eat maths, you need to breathe maths, you need to live maths. And to me, that was one subject here, but it is sense at all. And that's where my parents supported me and motivated me, Uri, Pano, you can do this. And Wichita there na the tutor, the private lessons, namini, babibi bangaba bachi step in bantusa and supported me usikera ndichi suka level ye Mr. Mohammed Baba Chirinyaga. high school ndaba involved ngamanda ka the maths competitions zezaba zichikho iteya either within the school or the province. Ndova ndichi ba successful ngamanda ka the competition hedzinoni. However, habona zimwe zine ndova ndichi failure ndichi loser, but ufailure zwazisa demotivating. It would actually push me uri next time ndi achieve much more than I did ka hecho chipinga. Throughout high school, ndova ndi top student from grade 8 till grade 12. A few days after the matric results were announced, the University of Cape Town yondrumela a letter of acceptance. Ichiko simbeze uri I've been accepted ka chemical engineering degree.
Bekunalo njabulo at the same time nokuthuka ukuthi manje sengiyoqala enye impilo yabo ngiyaqeda manje ngiyaphambili.
I knew uri I needed to move away from my parents, and that to me gave me a huge fright. Ndandisathuhumbura uri that day would actually come. I guess my parents feel uri no, this person is just not ready for the big city.
They took leave. And I was like, oh wow, you have awesome parents. Like, but all the way from Venda, but I'm now we're Cape Town.
Richisika Cape Town, they helped me settle in terms of finding accommodation, because that part wasn't sorted out. Bangwanera raise. They made sure that everything was in place for me to start with academic year young. Ndichiswika varsity, Ndowana an entrance scholarship from the engineering department here, UCT. However, it was not enough to fund Mwawa 2010. So, baby vanga baba koteyo mbaderera for that year.
We chemical engineering degree, like on your 4 years when you're doing, you are required to do a 4 weeks vocational work where you work in a plant, in a company, where you get to exposure to understand what they do.
So, ndihenda then I apply to Mintek and that trainer for 4 weeks. Now that ndonopedza qualification yanga ya chemical engineering, tomorrow I'll be going to Mintek to interview for a position as a chemical engineer in the minerals processing division.
I believe maybe tomorrow she might struggle with being perfect and making sure things are flowing the way they have to. And sometimes you can never guarantee that.
Getting this job would mean a lot to me. Firstly, it would mean a step closer to my goals and also making my parents proud. And I would really love to see that.
Can you tell us what do you understand about contamination?
To ensure that you reduce on you reduce. this is it. I am just about to go in for my interview. I'm feeling a bit nervous. My voice is gone because of my cold, but I'm hoping everything goes well.
Pfano, welcome to Mintek. You're going to be here today. We're interviewing you for the position of graduate chemical engineer at the Minerals Processing Division at Mintek. Okay. The panel today is myself, Jesse Pillay. I'm the head of communications at Mintek, and we have our technical expert Musa Siddiqui from Minerals Processing Division. We're going to ask you a few questions just to give us an understanding of you and your expertise, your qualifications and your skills. And we'll start maybe with something a bit easy. So maybe you want to give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Name is Pfano Nembudani. I graduated from the University of Cape Town with a degree in chemical engineering. And during my studies, I did a lot of volunteering work. I volunteered for Shoko, as well as SA Women Eng. In Shoko, we would go to the surrounding neighborhoods and tutor. Our target market was specifically schools that were disadvantaged. Outside, I enjoy reading. I also enjoy going to movies and hanging out with friends and family.
Tell me something. Your best achievement, what would you say is your best achievement to date and why?
I would say it has to be graduating from the University of Cape Town with a chemical engineering degree. That to me was the most challenging and trying times of my life. I remember when we first got there, we met with the Vice Chancellor, and what he told us was, you need to look at your right and your left. At that point, he then said, in 4 years' time, only one of you will be graduating. And after the day I graduated, I remember looking at him, and just to have overcome what seemed impossible at the beginning it still is one of my best achievements.
No, that's good. It's only as difficult as until it's completed, isn't it?
Until it's completed, yes.
That's fabulous. Tell me something. Your subjects at university, which would you say would have been your most favorite subject, and which would you say was your least favorite subject?
Okay.
And why, of course?
Okay. The subject that I would say was my favorite would have to be professional communication. It was broken down into 2 sections. One was done in 3rd year, and the other one was done in my final year of studying. I would say that was one of the most useful courses that I did in terms of, because it's fine, you go to engineering school, they equip you with all these skills that you can use, but if you can't communicate efficiently, that
100%.
It won't help you in any way. So that helped me a lot in terms of learning how to break down a technical concept into something that everybody can understand.
Good. Musa, maybe you want to take over with some technical questions for Pfano?
Hi, Pfano. Can you tell us what do you understand about contamination and what are the implications thereof?
Okay. Contamination would have, from my understanding, would have to be introducing foreign particles in any substance. So you would need to make sure that while carrying out each test work, you ensure that your equipment, your apparatus, everything is properly cleaned, and that you don't have random samples lying around your workstation, to ensure that you reduce on your what's the word I'm looking for? Your chances of contaminating the stuff you're working with.
Okay, Pfano, I have one more question for you before we move on to the 3 tasks that you'll perform as part of the interview. So the last question is, what do you understand about Mintek and Mintek's main activities.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. What I understand is Mintek has a proud history dating all the way back to 1934. I know that Mintek is involved in minerals processing as well as metallurgical engineering. I know that Mintek services mines and mineral processing plants all throughout the world. And lastly, I understand that Mintek has world-class research and development labs.
Okay, Pfano, we've come to the end of the interview. You'll now meet with your mentor and you'll undertake 3 tasks that have been set aside for you. And later on in the day, we'll meet again and discuss the outcomes of how you performed.
All right. So I just came from my interview. I have a feeling that went well. However, I was just a bit too nervous at the start, but I calmed down after that. And now I'm looking forward to meeting my mentor and doing the 3 tasks.
Mahaslas, tsena ke tse ding tsa dipotso tse boima. Mosebetsi ona o technical ke ka ho he ba lokelang ho kgetha motho ya nepahetseng. Ke ka ho ba lokelang ho mo lekola dibakeng tse fapaneng hore ba kgetha motho ya nang le botsebi hape ya tlang ka maikarabelo a mosebetsi. Mona he ke mo ho itukisa ho tlang teng. Pfano o ne ile dikarabo tse lekanetseng. Le ha a nentse a nka nakonyana ho araba, o ne a nahana hape a kgutlisa tse ding tsa dintho tse a ithutileng tsona. Le dikarabong tsa hae ha a bua fela ka dithuto tsa hae, o buile le ka mehato ya hae ya go volunteera, e leng dilo tse ding tse leng gore di ka tshutshumetsa mohiri wa hao gore a bone gore wa kgathalla ha e fela go batla mosebetsi.
Yo mahustlers, ngithi awuthi ngiqaleke impikiswano enkulu khona lapha ku social media bafethu. Sifuna ukwazi wena Mozambela mathupha uyofunda imfundo engajwayelekanga ephinde futhi ebalekile ke emnothweni noma ukuthuthukeni kwalelizwe bafethu. Ubani ke kumele abhadale? Cela nitsheleni uluvo lwenu khona lapha ku Twitter na ku Facebook bafethu. Ngaphambi ukuthi ubona uFano ayoshaya itask yakhe yokuqala khona lapha eMintek. Okuyi industry enomthelela omkhulu ekuthuthukiseni umnotho wakulelizwe.
Hi, my name is Mpo. I've been at Mintek for 6 years. I've worked in both the hydrometallurgy division and minerals processing, where I currently am as an engineer, specializing mostly in projects in base metals and industrial minerals. Hi, Pfano. Welcome to the first task in minerals processing.
Hi, Mpo, nice meeting you.
Okay, so your first task is in comminution. I'm going to ask you to crush a sample from 20 millimeter to 12 millimeter. And then the same sample, then we take it, we'll be using a jaw crusher there. And then the same sample afterwards, we go crush it down to 1.7 millimeter in a cone crusher. Okay.
Is there any specific reason why we stage crushing?
Well, the reason is if we went all the way to 1.7 millimeter, we'll end up creating a lot of fines. So what we do is we crush in stages, and when we get to the small crusher, we put in a screen, and anything that goes through is not crushed again, and we're only crushing whatever is above the 1.7 millimeter. Okay, and then the last stage of the comminution task will be milling. You will be milling then the -7 millimeter sample down to a P80 of 300 microns. For that, you'll need to put the sample, 1 kilogram of the sample in a mill, and put a kilogram of water to make it at a pulp of 50%, and then you mill that sample for 6 minutes. Okay, so for task 1, I asked Pfano to prepare a sample to reduce it to a size that can be used in the next step that we're going to be doing. And the reason for that is that the minerals that we are targeting are okay in grains, and those grains are different sizes, and for us to be able to reach them with the chemicals that we'll be using in the next stage, we need to reduce the size of the sample to a certain grind.
Ke re bagaetso ba bogi magaeng gompieno tla be re monela di-minerale matlapeng before o mpitsa ka moruti wa sotsi ke re botsa chemical engineer ya rona Pfano o tla lebelela gore ntho ke buang ka yona e teng ba e bitsa ka mineral extraction before a tswelela pele e re nna ke re distraction ya ka teng mo le mo wo jambolo ya rona ya beke eno ke re my selector a ka re ba fetlu ya bona ya mathomo which is the letter X bafethu u-X ongasolveki uyazona lapha ekhaya wenzeni uqakele ukuthi eliphi legama esilifunayo bese uya lapha ku Facebook na ku Twitter ufake eyakho impendulo but right now let's go back to the grind no literally we're going to the grind abasebenza ngegrind yazini isingangitsheli nginikhombise check this out
Pfano, this is the sample that you will be crushing.
Okay. So from this ore, we're going to be extracting fluoride, that is the mineral of interest.
What she needs to look out for when she's performing tasks in these machines are two things. One is mass accountability, to make sure that she, at the end of the process, that she has the same amount of mass equal to when she began.
Crushing and grinding all fall under comminution, which is basically size reduction. However, the only difference comes in with the target size. So crushing will reduce the particles from big sizes to smaller sizes, but not as small, whereas grinding will now reduce it from smaller sizes to finer powder-like products. Normally used for the production of hydrofluoric acid as well as in ceramic industry. There are other uses such as in the pharmaceutical industries. We started off with the jaw crusher, where we reduced the particles from a size of 20 millimeters all the way down to 12 millimeters. Then we crushed the 12 millimeter product from 12 all the way down to 1.3 millimeters.
Africa is very rich in minerals, we all know, and South Africa is actually has the largest deposit of fluorspar in the world. Currently, we're only mining about 0.3 million tons a year. while China is at around 3 million tons on production. However, I also don't believe it's necessarily about, the rate. It's also just about the development that can come from our minerals, because if we extract it and we sell it out, but there's nothing to show when the resources are depleted, then we would have lost in the long run. Hi, Pfano. So to minimize the sample that we're losing to the rods, it's best that we rinse the rods first. We're using that wash bottle, and then we will empty the sample directly into the float cell.
Okay. I'll just wash that out.
So heavy.
The combination is really interesting. However, I found that it required a lot of manual labor, and that is something that I will struggle with. Okay, I'm done now. Okay, it's done.
Pfano did very well in her tasks. She knew what she had to do, and I think with more practice, because some of these things they take, when the more you get used to the tasks, the easier they are, and also the faster you can be doing it. And but she's aware of the aims and objectives that she had to attain, and she did attain them.
Pfano o na le utlwisiso ya tsela ya mosebetsi. Ha a tshabe go botsa dipotso, ene dipotso tsa hae di tshwanetse. Ra bona gore mosebetsi ona o physically. Ha se wa batho ba ishebileng, ene Pfano yena o comfortable le sebakeng sena. Je ka ha re bona gore o sebeditse hantle, re na le utlwisiso ya gore di-practicals di botlhokwa. Ha o santsane o ithuta le ha o qeta go ithuta. Makala a mangata a engineering a hloka di-practicals. Di-chemical engineers ba sebedisa chemistry le engineering go rarolla mathata a lefatshe. Ke tse pedi ditsela tse o ka di latelang go ithutela lekala lena. O ka etsa national diploma ya 3 years ya chemical engineering kapa o etsa bachelor of science. Hopola fela gore maths le science di a hlokahala. Ko tasking ya bobedi, Pfano o ile kotula di-minerals tse a di entseng tse tswang ko di-materialeng.
Hi Pfano, welcome to task 2. So in task 2, I'm going to ask you to do a flotation test on the sample that you milled. It's already been heated up to 60 degrees. So they are the conditions that you'll be needing to use for the flow test, and they indicate all the reagents that you'll be needing to use and the stages that you'll be needing to do for your flow test. In task 2, I'm going to ask Pfano to conduct a flotation test where she's going to produce a raffia concentrate. Then she will clean that raffia concentrate to purify it, and the product from there we're going to use it in task 3.
So I'm going to start off with making up the reagents that we're going to use during the flotation test. I'm going to make up sodium silicate. The reason for making it up is for easier dosage during the test. So that's sodium. Now, sodium silicate acts as a dispersion. Now, a dispersion ensures that your gangue minerals are not attached to your mineral of interest. So it's sort of like, ensures that everything is discrete. just gonna fill it up to this water line.
Take it down for you.
Thank you. His thumb is not gonna come. Okay. So now, before I start, I'm gonna check the pH and the temperature of the slurry. That is the milled product. So the pH has to be over 7 and the temperature has to be just above 40. Okay, so pH is 7.5, which is good. Temperature is over 40, which is also good. So then we can start. So I will start off by adding the sodium carbonate. The reason why we're adding the sodium carbonate is to regulate the pH throughout the test. So we're going to add 20 mils of the sodium carbonate.
I've been in the industry for 6 years, and I am getting even more and more passionate about the minerals processing, especially in the aspect of that Africa, we see minerals as our main resources that we are hoping will be the drivers to the development. And for us to know how we can do that successfully and how that even economical benefit will trickle down to the entire continent. Every single person will be able to benefit from the minerals that is underneath the ground will be a thing that we all should be aspiring to knowing.
So you introduce air in the system, which then creates bubbles in the system. So then your mineral of interest now attaches to the bubbles. So that's why we need to scrape off the bubbles. That's where your mineral of interest is. And the stuff that you collect, that's what's called the concentrate. So in this case, it's the rougher concentrate. Depending on the grade that you're targeting, this process can take the whole day. And you can imagine scraping the whole day. That is not really friendly on your arms. So I really do wish there was an easier way of doing this.
So Pfano understood what was required for task 2. She was able to produce a concentrate that we're going to use in the next step. She still will require training to be more comfortable with the processes. It is very involved with various components that need to be added and regular checkings of systems such as pH and temperature.
ngwanana ona o tseba taba tsa hae le lerato la mmetse le science le a ipontsha mahaslas je ka ha o iponetse ona ha se mosebetsi wa batho ba hlokang mamello. Pfano o focused and hape o consistent e leng selo se tlisang phapang ho fumaneng ha mosebetsi fela kapa ho fumaneng ha career. Di-chemical engineers ba lokela go bana le kelello e bulehileng, ba batle go tseba, ba bane le bokgoni le botsebi ba maths, physics le science, ba bane le bokgoni ba puo le go sebetsa le batho.
Hi Pfano, welcome to your third and final task. In this task you'll be using a wet high intensity magnetic separator to remove, in essence, the iron from the cleaner concentrate that we produced.
Okay.
And do you have any questions?
Not at this point.
Do you know how to begin?
Yes.
Okay, carry on. Pfano's last task was to further upgrade the flotation concentrate to remove the main contaminant, which is the main mineral that was unwanted remaining in our concentrate, and that was the iron in the form of pyrrhotite and hematite.
Ngithi sondela sondela ngithi samukele sona iSpani bafethi sisanibambile ngathi so much host ka anindawo. We are just a magnet for hustlers bafethi. We can't help it. Njengoba ke sibona ihustler lethu bafethi isebenzisa ama magnet ukushaya ke i-separation process azange azamose kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi lapha nokwejumble kumosakele ingakho ke ngizonceda nginikeze another clue ma selector asibanike, which is the letter T bafethi. Akungithemba ukuthi izokhona ukunceda. Uyazi impilo yakho ifaka kuphi ku Twitter na ku Facebook. But right now let's go see our awesome girl. Yes, awesome. I went there. All right. Ashake itask yakhe igcina bafethi, separating minerals from other stuff which I don't know. So uzokunceda ukuthi ubukele, ulalele, ufunde. Zonke into zobe zenzeka emva kwekhefu. Siyobona ukuthi ngabe Mintek izomnamathela ngathi uMachoska ingamdedeli. Kodwa mina lapha emakhaya ngiyandedela. When I say let's take it back to a break.
So I'm going to use the 2mm matrix. So I'm just going to put it in the conical section. This is where the feed material will be. Okay. Sipho, could you please help me put this back on? So the objective of this task is to purify the flotation concentrate. Iron was found to be the main contaminant. So we were trying to separate it from the product, which is your fluoride. Thank you, Sipho. Now I will turn the water on. So during my VEC work, I was exposed to physical separations, the physical separations part of minerals processing. So this to me was quite new and I learned a lot today, so this was quite good. Now how this works is you essentially turn on the current, which induces a magnetic field, and then you put in your matrix. Right? So when you feed in your feed material, which is your flotation concentrate, your mags, which is your magnetic material, it will then they will collect in the spaces while your non-magnetic, which is what we want our product, will flow through. So essentially that's how it works. So it was my first time operating it. However, with Sipho's help, we were able to operate it successfully. Going forward, I think with more practice, I will be able to operate it by myself. Okay, during my vacation work, I have developed an interest in flotation, so the chemistry behind the flotation reagents, and I see myself pursuing a master's qualification in that field. So after pursuing my master's qualification, my plan is to work in a company, in a research company similar to Mintek. Hopefully, if Mintek takes me, Mintek will be home for the next 10-15 years.
So as you remember, we started with ore at 20 millimeter, which we crushed it to 12 millimeter, and then 1.7 millimeter before we milled it to a grind of about 300 microns. And then we floated that and produced a concentrate, which we then passed through the magnetic separator. And this is the final product that we have produced through this whole process.
Pfano, welcome back.
Thank you.
I understand you had a very active day today.
Definitely.
How did you find it?
Besides being tired, the tasks were very interesting. I learned a lot, especially in comminution, because I'd never really worked in that field, but everything else was perfect. I learned a lot.
Good.
And I see it's something that I would see myself doing on a day-to-day.
Okay, okay. Well, we've had a discussion with your supervisor, and we've had some great reviews in terms of your performance. From my side, I'm happy with the way in which you performed regarding the discussion part of the interview earlier on today. Yourself, Musa?
Yes, well, we did get positive feedback, and you studied chemical engineering, and you were put in metallurgy, because minerals processing is mainly metallurgy. However, you could see that you fit very well. There are a lot of chemical engineering graduates who are in minerals processing.
Thank you, guys.
And in addition to that, I'm also pleased that you're well informed, especially when it comes to the technical aspects of the position that you've applied for. You did your research when it comes to Mintek before coming for the interview. You have a pleasant disposition about yourself, and it's good to see. It's refreshing to see candidates like yourself, enthusiastic, energetic, and these are the key attributes that we look for when recruiting employees at Mintek. And on that note, I'll give you the honors.
Well, congratulations, Pfano. You have been appointed to this position that you have applied.
You've been successful. Well done.
Successful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, from now that you know that you've been appointed,
Okay.
do you have any questions for us?
What I would like to find out is, firstly, in terms of working hours, am I required to work from 8 to 4, or how does it work?
I think Musa will be best to explain.
Yes, you will be required to work 8 to 4. We have our core hours, and from time to time you will be expected to work shifts as well, because some of our processes, they are 24-hour processes, so we do work shifts occasionally.
And those shifts are
12 hours.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. No, that's it from my side.
Okay, good. Welcome to Mintek.
Thank you. So guys, I got the job. I am really excited. I cannot wait to call my parents. This is one step closer to reaching my goals. Pressa, pusha, panda.
Congratulations, Pfano. Re ithutile go tswa go wena gore tsela e nepagetseng ya go tseba bokamoso ba gago go go ikagela bona. Potso ya rona ya beke ena e tswa ko Xolani a re yena o na le lerato la geometric engineering. Geometric engineering ba kopanya science le technology ka tshebediso e ntšha kapa tshebediso ya gale. Lekala lena le gola haholo ene hape le a fumanega mane ko University of Cape Town. O tlhoka NSC 32 points, maths le di-physical science. Dibasari le tsona di a fumanega mane SADI ha o le matriculant kapa o le undergraduate. Ene tsona di a kwala 31 October selemong sena. Ha e ka ba hona le ho sa o fumanang, hopola o checkela Facebook kapa website ya rona. Ke emetse ya hao potso.
Let me do this proper and pose like uStilo Magolide ngoba ke intokazi igqame yaqhakaza njengegolide bafethu. Isikhombisile ukuthi mawusebenza kanzima ungadonsa abantu abangaqasha bafethu. So ake sisebenzeni kanzima. Ngiyanibona lapha na kuwe Jumbo bafethu nisebenza kanzima. Nizamqoqela ukuthi eliphi legama esilifunayo. It's time for an answer and our answer is drum roll please. Extract bafethu njengoba sibona intokazi extract ama minerals kwezinye izinto base kusikhathi ukuthi nami ke ngizi extract mina umfana kaMntambo sengiphuma kanje ngidonsa zonke intambo ngihlala ngimtshela ngithi don't look down look up and stay up ngivala ngemambazo ngithi hambuyosebenza hambuyosebenza ngiyayivala.